There are people that have the audacity. And then there are people that have the audacity. And the West has the audacity. Europe, United States, and all those Western countries have the guts to call the kettle black. The West just has that mentality that they owned Africa and its resources, and Africa's loyalty belongs to them. They still consider Africa its colony. Hence, they are getting chest pains when countries like China, Russia, and North Korea invest in African countries. But the truth is, we are waking up to unite and taking back control of our continent, like in the days of Mansa Musa and other kings who controlled most of their resources and land. Check out this clip.
Been very concerned lately about China and sort of they are now all over Africa, buying things and investing over there and getting those countries dependent on them and supporting, non-democratic people. And I'm just
like whom?
Well,
we are in a country that supports Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's true. Right. So
suddenly we have a problem with, superpowers supporting non-democratic people. And let me explain why you shouldn't worry about that. But please continue.
Well, I mean, they're in Africa. They're lending money to countries to build ports and different infrastructure.
To build what?
Port.
And harbors. What's wrong with that?
And because
countries that need ports get ports.
But they're making people dependent on. I mean, I know it's the same thing that we've done, which is
no, it's not
around the world.
They are far more humanistic than the United States ever was.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. So
let me give you an example. Of course, they are peddling for influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they are non-interventionist. Absolutely non-interventionist in a way that Europeans, the West, has never managed to fathom.
But I have a feeling they have a longer-term thought process that is more interventionist.
Right. But anyway, let's judge what we see. Let's judge what. Okay. Let's start at the beginning.
The entitlement for calling China out for doing what your people have been doing, exploiting Africa. But to be honest, China is not exploiting Africa. And I know someone in the comment section is going to be saying, they are not exploiting Africa yet. But all these investments and loans China has been giving to most of the African countries is going to come back and bite Africa in the ass. And I know it's going to be a mouthy white person who thinks Africa is his birthright and no one has the right to it, let alone China. But the matter of fact is, white people hate competition, especially competition from a strong country like China. Anyway, as I was saying, this woman alluding that China is exploiting Africa without proof, insinuating that it's just a matter of time before China asserts its dominance in Africa and take over its complete BS. China is more human than any Western countries. They deal with Africans in a humanly way. They don't impose, invade, and steal. They give us choices. Your ancestors imposed themselves on us and massacred us instead of building ports, bridges, and creating innovative technology for Africans. The United States experience with China is none of our business. So they shouldn't impose their opinions about China on us Africans. We don't experience China the same way, sorry. You know what's remarkable about China's influence outside of their country? They have no military bases in Africa or any of the African countries they have business prospects in. Now, in 2004, they discovered that there is vast amount of oil in Ethiopia before Ethiopia could discover the oil themselves. China is a major industrial powerhouse, but it lacks primary resources. So instead of invading the country with military troops, killing civilians, capturing governments, and denying the sovereignty of its right, they identified what Ethiopia lacked, and Ethiopia lacked infrastructure. China offered to build ports, upgrade railway systems, improve technology, and build new roads. They did this all for free, no strings attached. Why? China was building a network, a relationship based on mutuality and respect. And if Ethiopia discovered the oil themselves, which they eventually did, they will naturally offer their oil basins to Chinese companies. China has never combined their investments with imperialistic agendas. Simple. Some people aren't white and barbaric. They're very diplomatic. What moral rights does she have to judge China doing business with African countries? Her level of arrogance, ignorance, and stupidity about Africa-China relations is unimaginable. Africa belongs to Africans, period. She must say, with the soft power China and all these Eastern countries offer the African continent, our white supremacy influence will evaporate. Our violence will no longer scare Africa, and we can't bear a liberated Africa. That's why any African country who wants to liberate from the West have to ally themselves with Russia or China for protection, because the West will constantly work to overthrow them to another controllable stooge in charge of the government. So yeah, I think this woman should just say, hey, I am scared that with the soft power that China is launching in Africa, Africa will no longer be scared of the white supremacists. Our agendas will no longer shake Africa. We won't treat Africa like our own backyard, our own piggy bank. We won't come in and out of Africa and steal their resources. What are we going to do? So they vilify China. Oh, China is doing this. Oh, China is doing that. China is investing. Oh, don't take China's investments. Don't take China's loans. They will stab you in the back. Why are we speaking in present tense? It has never happened. Burkina Faso is happy with its relationship with China and Russia. I don't see Ibrahim Traore crying. But I see him crying about the Western country, France. I see him crying about Emmanuel Macron. I see him doing that. All the African countries are crying about the West, and the West has chest pains that China is offering an alternative solution to investing and enhancing and improving Africa through innovative technology and other means. And you guys have a problem and you accuse them of a violence they've never, ever did in Africa. No violence from China, none whatsoever. But we've heard y'all. Y'all have beaten us. Y'all have submerged us in poverty, fear, mind control, microaggression, racism, everything, every conflict that we know about white people, we know it from the West. Everything we've experienced that is bad, that causes Africans to rise up and fight every single time, we learned it from the West. We are always in survival mode when we are under the Western influence, under the Western, under the Western investments. Every time a Western country comes to, or a European, United States comes to Africa to say, we are investing, we have to, in order to accept that investment, we have to always be on survival modes, defending ourselves. Guys, no. We need a break, and if China's our break, we take it. We won't be manipulated by white people because they're scared of losing power. What do you think about the segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss